Hello friends, thanks for clicking play on another Dirty Teeth video. Before I get nerdy on some bike lights, I'd first like to mention that I love riding when it's dark. It morphs every trail into a new experience, even the ones you're most familiar with. And it adds a level of tranquility and adventure to every ride. I know many people that are intimidated by night riding, and it's a factor that keeps many folks from getting into bikepacking. Some of this has to do with poor lighting setups, and I don't want junky lights to keep anybody from missing out on the beauty of riding past sunset. For my real job, I've been staring into eyepieces and monitors for years and years. And if you're gonna ask me, no, YouTube doesn't even remotely come close to paying my bills. I've got some old, tired eyes, and I'm really picky about the lights I use. So today I'm gonna take you through my current arsenal of lights, for everything from quickie 1-hour rides and bike commuting to the most demanding multi-day bikepacking adventures. Some are expensive, some are cheap, and they all serve a purpose. You guys always remind me that I speak fast. I wish I rode my bike as fast as I talk. So I'll leave pertinent links and timestamps for reference in the description below. Let's jump straight into my Dynamo lighting system. It's none other than the kLite Ultra V2 up front and the cube in the rear. I'm not gonna dig into the techie bits now because I've already been there and done that. If you want to see a long-term in-depth review of these lights, I've got a link in the description. For the purposes of this video, let me just say this. As far as Dynamo-powered lights go, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything as bright and rugged and optimized for bikepacking as these little gems designed by Carry Straight in Australia. The Ultra is my go-to handlebar light anytime I'm running a Dynamo. If you're here in North America, you can source these easily at Jefe Velo, and Matt is a wealth of knowledge. For bikepacking and pretty much all off-road riding, I'll use a helmet light in addition to my bar light. It's nice to have redundancy in case one has an issue. But more importantly, it's nice to have a light that turns with your head. The bar light accentuates shadows and contours in the trail, and the combo platter allows you to ride safer and faster. When I'm rocking the kLite on the bars, I usually complement it with this exposure joystick on my helmet. And my wife always steals this one when it's time to put the chickens in at night. I've been using different iterations for years, and it's absolutely bomb-proof. Nobody enjoys the additional weight of lights on their helmet, but this guy is so light, I hardly even notice it's there. There's just one dummy-proof button on the back, and it's easy to engage even with my thickest gloves. It's actually quite amazing how much runtime and punch this guy packs while only weighing 93 grams. This particular version is the MK12, and I've had it for about 5 years. It's USB rechargeable, so I can plug it into my cache battery or even charge it directly from my Dynamo hub. The max output is 1000 lumens, and it's a spot lens which digs deep into trees. I just checked the Exposure website, and they recently released the MK16. I don't know how they did it, but the max lumens is now up to 1150 with even longer runtimes. The Exposure helmet mounting system is also my favorite, and trust me, I've tried a bunch. It's light and uses a nylon Allen bolt to secure it through the vent hole. The nifty ball mount swivels, so it's effortless to adjust where the beam goes. Once it's set, it stays in place surprisingly well, and I love how you can just pop it in and out without using any Velcro, no straps, no drama. Next up are my Fenix lights, which I typically use for bikepacking when I'm not running a Dynamo. I've been a fanboy of Fenix for years, and I currently have 4 of their lights in my quiver. Check out this relic. I've had this LD22 in my quiver for over 10 years. I still use it from time to time because it's simple and to the point. Oh, I've got batteries in there. It's not the most powerful light, especially compared to the more modern units out there, but it still does the job. I think the max output is only 300 lumens, but it runs on just 2 AA batteries, which you can pick up anywhere. On the lower settings, it lasts quite a long time. It's pretty much a dinosaur, but Fenix is still selling it. So somebody's still buying these. Although I rarely use it as a primary light these days, I do chuck it in my bag quite often to use as a backup light. And sometimes I'll give it to friends to borrow. I usually keep it strapped to a 2-fish flashlight holder, then it's ready to deploy on my bars or helmet in an emergency. This one somehow got shaved down by rubbing on my frame bag or something, but it's still running strong. A while back, I replaced my LD22 with the PD36R. It has a much shorter profile and a whopping 1600 max lumens. It can achieve this because it uses these modern 21700 batteries, which have a whopping 5000 milliamp hours of juice. On flats and climbs, I'm usually fine bouncing between the 150 to 300 lumen settings. Once in a while, I'll punch it up to 800 lumens for high-speed descents. I can usually get at least 2 full nights of riding on just 1 battery this way. I rarely go all the way up to 1600 turbo mode, but man is it bright. I've used this both as a handlebar and helmet light. Although these days it's strictly a helmet light since Fenix came out with the BC26R, which I'll touch on next. The 36R is slightly heavier than my joystick, but it still doesn't bother my neck. And even though it has a little more girth, I can still fit it into my joystick helmet mount. Another key feature is the R in its name. This means you can recharge the battery without taking it out of the unit itself. This is a fantastic perk, and it comes with a USB-C cable to handle the duties. In addition, the battery is also removable, so you can pop it out and use a separate charger if you choose. This also opens up the possibility of carrying spare batteries. Depending on the trip, I'll usually carry 1 or 2 extra batteries. So you can charge the battery in the flashlight, charge it externally, you can carry spare batteries, it uses a USB-C cable, it's also dust-proof and waterproof like my other Fenix lights, so it's a winner for bike packing. This is the Fenix BC26R, and it's even smaller than the 36R. It's about an inch shorter. The B means it's specifically designed for bikes. That's potent. The R means it has the same USB-C charging capabilities as the 36R. It uses the exact same 21700 battery as the 36R, so that's great for me. I can carry spares that work for both, and in the rare case that one might fail, you guessed it, I have redundancy. It also has a maximum 1600 lumens. They're pretty similar lights, but there are a couple key differences. As I just mentioned, it's about 1 inch shorter than the 36R. The beam is also more of a flood, which I prefer on my bars. So it complements the spottier 36R when I have it on my helmet. The output settings are tuned slightly differently, but as you'd expect, it has pretty much the same run times as the 36R. The most important difference is the track on the bottom that's designed to slide in and out of the Fenix Low Pro handlebar mount that it comes with. The mount is rock solid, lightweight, and both installing and removing the light and the mount is pretty much effortless. Fenix also sells a well-crafted GoPro adapter which slides into the light. This opens up many options of using your favorite aftermarket GoPro mounts, and there's many to choose from. This is a huge bonus when you're dialing in your perfect bikepacking cockpit. Maybe you're moving it back and forth between bikes, or using it with a front bag or without a front bag. It gives you lots of choices. The last of my Fenix lights is the BC30 V2. You guessed it, the B designates that it's bike specific, but there's no R, so the unit itself is not rechargeable. Although they do offer a rechargeable version. However, the battery is built in on this R version, so it wasn't suitable for my needs. V2 just means they made some upgrades from the original version. It's a little lighter, has more lumens, a more pleasing color temp, etc. You can find all the info on their site. So why do I need this light and what do I use it for? I'm glad you asked. The BC30 is my deep winter fat biking and expedition light of choice. It accepts Fenix's popular 18650 batteries, which are great for shorter trips and everyday use. But most important to me is this light's ability to use CR123 disposable lithium batteries as well. When temps drop below 0, nothing beats the performance of lithium batteries. I'll be taking this light to the Iditarod race with both plenty of spares on my bike and in my drop bags. Another feature I've grown to love is the wireless remote switch. I can control the light and change settings while my hand remains comfortably in my pogie away from the frigid cold. Pretty slick. The BC30 also uses the same discrete handlebar mount as the 26R I just mentioned. So it's also interchangeable with the GoPro adapter and all the other mounts I already own for that light. Currently I have it underslung on my fat bike with a K-Edge out front GoPro mount. It sits below the little barrel bag that holds my spare gloves, and I love it. While we're on the topic of winter expeditions, this is the Black Diamond Icon 700, which I'll also be taking to Alaska. It runs on 4 lithium AA's, and I love that you can switch between flood and spot and a colored camping mode with ease. For me, the key feature of this lamp is the ability to detach the battery pack from the head strap and power the light remotely. This keeps the battery weight off your head and allows you to put the pack in your pocket or elsewhere on your body. The unit on its own is very light and the strap is super comfy. So this strap works out well because I can easily adjust it and switch it back and forth between all of my hats. I currently keep the battery pack attached to the shoulder strap on my hydration pack so it stays warm and out of the way. I almost forgot this little teeny weeny AAA powered dude. It has this super cool retractable cable. This is a Petzyl Zipka. Sometimes I'll carry it as a backup light or I'll just throw it on my head as a camp light. It doesn't weigh much or take up much room, and the retractable cord can deploy in a second. Ready to go. That pretty much does it for the bikepacking lights in my arsenal. But I'm not letting you off that quick. I keep a couple other lights lying around that I dedicate to quickie mountain bike rides and commuting. I know most of the bikepacking lights I just mentioned are perfectly suitable for multitasking. I just like lights. I don't really have an answer. This is a Lezyne 1100 XL. Lezyne. I don't know. Tell me in the comments how it's pronounced. Either way, this is a relic carried over from when I closed my bike shop in Mammoth. We used to send these out with our fat bike rentals during our winter night race series. It's surprisingly bright and has been a reliable workhorse. I really love the integrated rubber strap, which allows for quick on and off of pretty much any width handlebar. When the indicator light turns red, I know it's time to charge it up, and that's that. Just a good all-around light that's lasted me through countless charging cycles. It's also one that I let friends borrow or just throw in my pack in case a sunset ride slips into night. I just looked it up out of curiosity, and there are now 1300, 1600, and 1800 lumen versions that have replaced this light. They can also connect to your phone and have the ability to be used with remote switches. But the size is still roughly the same as mine, and they've stuck with the integrated straps, so these lights are definitely worth considering. With that said, I'm using this light less and less these days because this one has grown on me. It's roughly the same size, but over twice as powerful, and has a dual flood and spot beam. This is the Magicshine Ray 2600. To be forthcoming, I didn't seek this light out, it kind of fell into my lap. Lately, I've been getting review requests for all types of products. I don't have the interest or bandwidth to deal with most of them, but this light intrigued me when I checked out Magicshine's website. So I agreed to test it with no strings or promises attached. At first I was just skeptical and thought this was another cheapy Amazon light, but I've been pleasantly surprised and it's become a keeper. I haven't beaten this up like the 1100 XL, but so far, so good. The dual flood and spot lenses throw off a nice beam pattern together, and you can also just use one at a time. It also has a smart mode which senses ambient light and adjusts itself appropriately. You gotta admit, that's pretty snazzy. It also uses a vibration sensor which automatically turns the light off after it's been stopped for a few minutes. And it'll turn itself back on when it senses you've started riding again. I'm pretty old school, so I still like to dial in my lights manually. Nevertheless, the smart option is growing on me, especially for commuting. The mount itself requires a little bit of futzing and some time to get it dialed in, and also requires an Allen key to snug it up. But once it's on, it's definitely solid. It also comes with different length straps to accommodate all the popular bar widths. The interface between the light and the mounting bracket is pretty much identical to a Garmin edge base. You simply click it in with a quarter turn, and it'll work with any other Garmin mounts you might already have stashed away. Magicshine offers a wired remote switch, which is okay, but I've obviously been spoiled by the wireless one on my BC30. Another cool feature of this light is the ability to use it as a power bank or a cache battery. You can charge your phone or other accessories with the same USB-C port that you charge the light with. My only real knock on this light so far is the complexity of the function buttons. I actually had to read the instructions. Between a lock feature and the smart mode and regular mode and flashing and solid and flood and spot, there's a lot going on. I still get confused, so I pretty much just set it and forget it on the mode I use most often. Other than that, this light definitely packs bang for the buck. And Magicshine now offers a whole plethora of bike lights, so they're worth the look-see. Okay, I've listed an awful lot of front lights, but you might be surprised to know I pretty much only use one rear light for all occasions. Crazy, right? This is the Daybot from Portland Design Works, or PDW. Before the Daybot, I used its predecessor, the Aether Demon, for many years. As the name Daybot suggests, it has modes bright enough to be seen during daylight hours. But it can also last for 100 hours during the nighttime flash mode. It's USB rechargeable, lightweight, and legitimately weatherproof. It's handled the rigors of mud and rain and everything else that years of bikepacking has tossed at it. What I like most is the mounting versatility. You can use it horizontally or vertically. And there are seat post mounts, seat stay mounts, clip options, and even a rack mount, which I'm currently using on my fat bike. I just leave the various mounts attached on all my bikes and just swap the unit back and forth. The on-off and mode select button is in a great spot right in the middle of the light. So it's easy to access and easy to use, even with thick gloves. Not much else to say except it's rugged and does its job and doesn't talk back. So yeah. I should also mention, even though it's not technically a light, I'll often rock this reflective triangle in addition to my blinky light. It adds more visibility, and if for some reason my light poops out, it gives me extra peace of mind. Dirt cheap, super light, and attaches with Velcro on seat rails or seat bags. Last up are these funky Arclight pedals made by Redshift Sports. I've had the privilege of using and reviewing many of Redshift's other products. Their kitchen sink handlebar setup, their shock stop stem, as well as their suspension seat post. Overall, I've been very impressed with the quality of their offerings. These pedals haven't disappointed either. I throw them on Sunny for commuting to and from the bike shop. There's so much tech and geekery involved, I could easily devote a whole video to them, but here's the cliff notes. Each pedal magnetically holds 2 rechargeable LED lights. The lights can switch colors, shining white when facing forward and red when facing backwards. Similar to the Magicshine light, they can also turn themselves on and off when you start pedaling. They come with a 4-port USB charger, which makes topping them off very easy. In Eco Flash mode, you get about 36 hours of runtime, so they don't need to be charged too often. They have an aluminum body with steel axles and sealed bearings. So they're definitely rugged and ready for poor weather, but also kind of heavy. They're best suited for commuting and city riding, which of course is what Redshift markets them for, and also the only riding I use them for. Word on the street is they might have a clipless version in the pipeline, so stay tuned. In a nutshell, these pedals make sure you're visible. They're constantly giving off 360 degrees of light, and the arc of your pedal draws eyes right to your bike. Redshift claims these make you 57% more visible than standard bike lights, and they've got studies conducted at Clemson University to back them up. They also offer a multi-mount, which uses the same magnetic LED modules as the pedals. This allows you to use them as a tail light or a helmet light, or you can hook them up to your backpack or anything else you can conjure up. They'll shine red or white, blinky or solid. I'm still married to my Daybot, but I like having this as an option just in case. Anyway, these pedals are pretty sweet, so I figured I'd mention them. We have reached the end of this video, and I applaud you for hanging out this long. I want to hear from you. What are your favorite lights, and have you tried any of the ones I just mentioned? I love learning from you guys, so leave your notes or just say hi in the comments below. If you feel inclined, please share this video and punch the like button. My statistics show that 80% of you watching this video haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Please consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell so my little channel can grow and I can make more videos like this one. That's it. I'm off to ride now, so until next time, ride bikes, give back, pay it forward. Thanks so much for squeezing dirty teeth into your busy schedule. Please help us reach more people and ensure you receive new videos by giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell. Until next time, ride bikes, drink beer, live happy.